Welcome to Big Life Weekly Series, where we empower high achievers to break free from limits, unlock their natural potential, and live a big life. I'm your host, Robert Acosta, and each week we will explore the strategies, mindsets, and tools you need to thrive, not just in your professional career, but in every aspect of your life. Whether you're a leader looking for a better balanced life, an entrepreneur aiming for sustainable success, or someone ready to take the next step toward your best self, this podcast is your space to grow, reflect, and take action. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, I'm Robert Acosta. I'm with Katharine Chestnut from Atlanta, USA. Welcome, Katharine.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, let's start right away so we can capture as much as possible to showcase your business. So, Katharine, can you give us a 90-second overview of what your business does and why you got into it?
So my business is about helping people find their path and their purpose and being in alignment spiritually and emotionally and mentally, making sure that they are happy and fulfilled at what they're doing.
Right. And how do you start that business?
Well, how did I start that? It was by me needing to do that. I needed to do that. And I would say I was on that quest for decades. I did spend 30 years in corporate America doing strategic marketing planning for Fortune 100 companies. And while I was doing that, and I did get a lot of satisfaction from doing that, I was always searching because I always felt like there was something disconnected inside me. And so I was exploring and looking at different ways to help myself along the way.
Right. So there's where you find, well, this is my path, even to show and to help someone else that maybe is passing through the same transition of uncertainty, and then help them to find that path, right?
Yes. And part of that path led me to opening a local co-working community, which I still run. It's been open for 10 years. And again, along the way, I found that I had an ability to communicate and in a way that was accessible for other people, particularly ambitious, professional, career women who I can identify with, who felt like I need some more balance in my life, but I'm not quite sure how to get there, because that was something that I was searching for. So eventually, I actually had an idea to write a book, and that book kind of sat for 17 years.
Wow.
And I finally decided in 2021, if I don't write this book now, when am I going to write it? And so I wrote my first book, which is Inner Affirmations.
Okay.
And that was kind of the beginning of this journey of expanding this mindfulness and self-discovery and meditation business, because this is what really resonates with me. This is what I love doing. I love my co-working space and I love building the community here, but the tools that I've learned over the years in marketing and also in building this community has given me the ability to build a mindfulness community of people that can help each other as they're finding their own path.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that word, that's the industry, right? The mindfulness industry is something, and even though I know it sounds like industry is like, it sounds more, a lot of material, but no, I'm meaning in a way that there are a lot of people looking for answers, looking for a different life, or for, as you say, a balanced life. So what do you say that you enjoy most about working in this industry of mindfulness?
It's so fascinating that you ask me this, because we're the mindfulness membership. It's called the Mindful Life. The membership is going through a challenge right now. I do a 10-day challenge, and I started it yesterday because we get bombarded at the beginning of the year. And so this is about manifesting our passion, is what this challenge is about. And I do the exercises along with the members because I want to be going through that process. And of course, because we're always changing and evolving, I get different things that come up for me. So the exercise or activity from yesterday was to write down things that really excite you. And the things that really excite me, and the thing that I love the best, is knowing that I've helped somebody.
Right.
Even in some small way. So it can be as simple as somebody listening to one of my meditations, which you can listen to on Insight Timer or YouTube or Spotify. Somebody listening to that and then sending me a message and saying, thank you. That was exactly what I needed right now. Or sometimes people send me note cards in the mail saying how much they have appreciated having the support and knowing that there's somebody who's been there,
Yeah.
where they're going through right now, and can empathize. And I can't show them their path, but I can support them as they're going through it.
Yeah, I see that maybe your personal growth, your personal life, and your business. So having this as a business, as a way of living, they are intertwined, and so you get satisfaction both ways. So how do you define success in the work you do when you have that intertwined?
There's a couple different ways. I mean, clearly, you need to earn a living, right? But I've always, and this has been true my entire career, if something didn't feel right, I would tell somebody. Like when I was doing strategic marketing and somebody said to me, oh, we're doing this, and I'm like, yeah, not so much. Even if it didn't help me personally, I'd say, I think that you would be better served to spend your money and resources doing something else, because then they know they can trust me. And so now I'm not just a vendor or a commodity, I'm a partner, and they'll come back to me. And I feel like that's the same way here, whether it be my co-working space or my mindfulness business, is being authentic always, and then people see you as somebody that's trustworthy. And then they'll come back to you, and then they'll tell their friends about you. So to me, getting recommendations and referrals and 5-star reviews, that's the best gift of all.
That's the way you can say I'm doing a successful job. I'm being successful. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm just curious that what would be the biggest problem? Because now I don't see any problems in this path. So what would be we can call it problem or challenge you see? Because I understand that, as you say, you have referrals, but not everyone refer everyone, because there are not necessarily all the people working in this industry really being honest or authentic. So what is the challenge, or the biggest challenge you see in this industry on mindfulness, and how you're solving that for yourself or for your clients?
So the biggest challenge for me, or do I see it for the
For the
industry?
industry, let's talk about that in general.
I would say one of the things that you mentioned is that I feel like there are people that have put monetization over
Mm,
authenticity. And I understand that we need to make a living, and
of course.
I have a mortgage to pay and groceries to buy just like anybody else, and not everybody is going to pick up on that.
Right.
And yet, but some people are going to feel like they get exactly what they need from somebody who I don't feel is authentic, but they do. I feel like that level of putting monetization
Right.
over authenticity and integrity is something that is more of a challenge in this industry. Uh, you could say it would be like the old preachers from back in the day when they would travel around from town to town and just take money from
Hmm.
everybody, right? There was a whole movie about that with Shirley Jones, and that I'm not saying that everybody in this industry
Yeah.
is in that place, because there are a lot of people, I mean, that are very sincere and very authentic.
Hmm.
And I've worked with some of them, and they make very good money and they do great work. But they're not for everybody. Just like I'm not for everybody. We each have our own special piece that resonates with different people.
Yeah, and that's the people that you attract, and that those are the people that are gonna feel confident, and I think there's a key word that you're gonna feel care, that you care about them. So, and that's the first, let's say the first transaction to get to the next one. So before monetization, as you say, they have to trust you, and they have to be that resonance, and that's the way you work, as I see it, right? So,
I
so,
completely
so
agree,
that way
yes.
we're talking about what is that ideal client, that client that what significant outcomes can they expect from working or when working with you? What would you say this is your particular ideal client?
I would say my specific client that resonates best with me is a professional career woman, probably in her late 30s, 40s, 50s, who is looking to feels something empty in here and doesn't know where to go find it, doesn't know what the secret sauce is to find that. It doesn't matter if they've gone through life transitions, marriage, divorce, children, empty nester. I mean, I've been through all of that. And that's why that is who I connect with best, because I've been in all those places. And I'm sure I have more places to go yet. But that person, I know myself, there have been times in my life where I felt really connected and really great. And there were times that I felt so depressed, I was down in the basement of the basement. And the things that I have done, I can't even tell you how many books I've read. I can't even tell you how many workshops I've been to try and help myself to find how to pick myself up or to find connections while I'm still busting my butt at work. You know, the person that resonates with me is somebody who really is miss corporate kick-ass during the day, but a personal life might feel kind of like a hot mess sometimes. And that place of being like, why can I be so put together at work and not in this other place? That's who works well with me, because I can't tell you how many times I've felt that way.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We were talking about people that are actively, and that's what's happened more and more often these days, more people actively seeking solutions to achieve better outcomes, to have that balance. So, what makes you unique in the way you help them achieve those outcomes?
There's not one size fits all. That's the most important thing to know. And when I first start working with somebody and we're coaching, we'll explore different things. What have you done before? What has worked well? What hasn't worked well? What excites you? Because just like we did this, my membership group is what excites you. So look at that. So we start there and we find also, what is it that you want? What do you want to feel, or how will you know when you have reached the place that you want to be? Because identifying that is super important. Of course, that's the left brain pragmatic side of me, because that part always wants to know, okay, so how do we know when we got there? But then there's also the right brain, the heart-centric part of me that needs to be a very important part of this, that will accept, we might do some things that are a little woo-woo, and that's okay. But we need both. So that's part of, we'll explore that, we'll find the things that work, what don't work, and move forward. And when I'm coaching people, I'm working with them we have a meeting once a week, but in addition to that, I'm always available through Slack so they can reach out and, I might check in with them too. How are you doing on this thing that we talked about a couple days ago? Because that's the support that they need while they're busy. So the difference is, I don't tell them what to do. We discover it and explore together what their path looks like. It's not going to be the same as mine.
Yeah, so that I get it. That part of your uniqueness is that personalized attention to every detail of that particular person. As you say, not everything fits everyone. So you need to understand the person first, and then create the solutions together. I like that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a partnership. We're working together.
Exactly. So what's the strangest or funniest incident you have experienced while working with your mindfulness membership or your mindfulness business so far?
I would say I get on YouTube every day, and I do a live every morning, and I do a reading from my third book, and then I reflect on it. And when you're on a live, there's people putting comments and messages to you, and most of the time they're just garbage. And somebody, and this just happened a few weeks ago, it just kind of threw me. It was somebody that I knew. And right, because you get to know people when they're in your live, or they're in your, they put comments on your videos, things like that, or on your Spotify recordings. And this gentleman asked me to marry him.
That's great.
While I'm on the live YouTube, and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm kind of glancing down at the lives while they're coming, the comments while they're coming up, and I see that, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going. And he asked again, and I was like, I see you. Let's take this offline.
Yeah, I know you are in contact with a lot of even it was people that or that person that was someone you knew, but you can imagine any kind of people that can jump in a live or in the social media. No, there's a lot of people. There are some people that are not even looking for anything, just ghosting, right?
Right. And I've been doing public speaking for 35 years. I
Mm,
also um, speak at marketing
right.
conferences. And I'm grateful for that experience because I can roll with it when somebody throws some random something at me. I have enough
Yeah,
experience
how to
doing
deal
public
with that?
speaking now. Right, how to deal with that.
Well, I see this industry of personal growth, of mindfulness, has been growing for decades, and I would say it's been transformed and evolving. I guess, and maybe not in the right direction. So, what do you see as the coming trends within this industry, and particularly even in your business, and how are you staying on top of that to follow that trend?
I would say that there's, first off, we didn't call it mindfulness.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't call it that 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
you're right.
I mean, it's personal growth or wellness or whatever, but we didn't call journaling mindfulness. We just
Yeah.
didn't. And now that mindfulness is kind of this catch-all phrase for a lot of different things. I always I don't want to overuse it, but at the same time, I know that's what I'm doing. So that has become more of a
Mm.
trend, is that people are recognizing, like, 5 years ago somebody said, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I started this mindfulness business. And they're like,
Yeah.
and how are you doing that? And now you say it and people get it, and they're like, okay, how, what forms, how are you expressing that? In terms of what's moving forward, I think we're going to continue to see more memberships because people want connection. But I also feel like in person opportunities are going to continue to come back.
Right.
Because clearly, when COVID came, all of that went away. But people, I mean, we're humans. We need connection. I see it here every day. Even the introverts that work here, they may not want to talk to anybody, but they want to know that there's a human
Right.
nearby. So people need to make those genuine
Yeah.
connections. And I feel like that is the piece that is going to continue to trend upward. People need to feel connected to somebody.
Yeah, and I guess there are going to be people that want to jump into this industry and do something as you did. So, what advice would you give to someone just starting with this within this industry of mindfulness?
Start small,
Okay.
pick a thing that you want to do. I was inspired to become a meditation teacher, and that was where I started because I wanted to give back. I wanted to help other people that were recovering from the trauma that I had gone through. That was where I started. So come from a place of passion.
Mm.
This is something I feel really good about sharing. I know that somebody else needs this besides me. So when you're coming from that place, it's really easy to be genuine and authentic. And from a marketing perspective, pick one platform that you want to focus on, because you can't do it all. Pick one and go lean in hard there and give people a way to communicate with you and to help you and support you.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good advice, I think. And I know through your life, even in your corporate life, and even this new life that you have in this industry, you have faced failures and challenges. And but you know, at this stage of life, that most of them can really shape who you are right now. So can you select what is the biggest failure, I may say, or challenge that you have faced at this point in your life, and how has that shaped the way you do business today?
I would say my biggest failure is not always to listen to my own advice.
Yeah, what happened?
So when I say don't do everything, because I'm also that girl who wants to do everything, don't. In the last year and a half, I've pulled back on some things because it was too much. I can't do everything. I want to do everything. I can't do everything. So recognizing that and taking a very hard look at this is working, this is not working. And here, I'll even show you how that manifests. Every week, I have a little list
Okay.
of what I'm gonna do for the week. I do this every single week. What is the best thing that I need to do for my business, and what are the easy things? And the best things are the things that I focus my time on. But if I'm in a place where, hey, I have 30 minutes, I'm gonna work on this thing that's easy because I can knock this out in 30 minutes. Okay. Whereas some of these best things may take more concentrated focus time. And I do that every single week. And that keeps me on point.
Oh,
And write a marketing plan. Of course, I'm going to say that because of my marketing background. And look at it. I look at mine every month and I look for key performance indicators. How am I doing? Am I on track? Do I need to make adjustments?
so
And don't get intimidated by that. It doesn't have to
just
be
go
that
through
way.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so it looks like you find through from failure and challenges some ways to shape your business. Let's see the other way around. What is the one thing that has been most instrumental in your success?
I have been a part of a few groups to help small businesses that have helped me recognize where my strengths are, or strengths I thought I didn't have and that I actually have. I went through a blog group for a year and I discovered that I really enjoy doing that. And that's become one of those easy things on my list, is to knock that out. But learning how to communicate authentically through email and video. I'm not shy about being on camera. I know there are a lot of people that are, but I've leaned in hard into YouTube and also to email but again, make sure it's authentic. You're coming from here.
Yeah, I think it's very important, as you mentioned, for everyone that is starting this business or any business, you have to come from your
Yes.
heart. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hard path. Maybe you have to learn it that way.
People will smell the bullshit.
Yeah.
They just do. You need to tell your story and come from a place of truth. Because if anything about it is not genuine, people are going to sniff it out.
Okay, let's see the future. Let's focus on the future now. So, what is the next growth area for you personally and for your business?
For me, I've been doing co-working for 10 years now, and I love it, but I'm ready to step out of that and to focus on this mindfulness business full time. It can be challenging to have one foot here and one foot here, and that's been something that I've had to work on. And so that's the next step, is for me to step fully into that business and to do more public speaking in the mindfulness and wellness industry, because I've done a lot of public speaking in marketing and a little bit in mindfulness. I like doing it, I'm good at it, and I want to do more of it.
Yeah, it's good that you find and you know what your talents are, and so you can use them to your purpose, and not it's a selfish purpose, but the purpose to communicate and educate people in this mind what really mindfulness is, right? Okay, so here's a funny question. So if you could have lunch with one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Sue Myers.
Sue Myers.
You're not going to know her. She was and she's since passed away. She is the woman who I met probably 30 years ago. I had a friend suggest to go to a workshop of hers. I feel like she was a mentor long before I decided to open this business, but she was the single most influential person to help me find my own path. And for many years, she told me, you need to be doing this kind of work. And I couldn't see how that could possibly, how I could do that work. I couldn't see it, I couldn't feel it. And I would love to talk to her and tell her that I found the way that works for me, and tell her about it, and let her tell me how I could do it better, because she would be definitely doing that.
Yeah, it's amazing how many mentors we have had in our lives, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. But we are not made by ourselves. We are made by our community and the people that really are influencers and have been influencers in our life, right? That's amazing. So what is the best way for people to contact you if they'd like to work with you or discuss referral partnerships?
You can go to my website, which is katharineChestnut.com. You can find me on Spotify and YouTube and most of the other social platforms, but those are the main ones that I work through. But my website is probably the best place.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so that was terrific, and I enjoyed this conversation with you, really. Thank you so much for being with me on the podcast, Katharine.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Big Life Weekly series. I hope today's episode gave you the insight, inspiration, and tools you need to move closer to the life you're meant to live. Remember, true success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you feel while you achieving it. If you found value in our conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with others who are ready to embrace their big life. Until next time, stay focused, keep growing, enjoy life, and break free.